What's a database? Why are we even talking about this? I have 12 classes. 3 of them are seller, 3 of them are buyer. 6 of them are technically to help you get more leads. And out of those 6, it's database. I feel is one of the most important classes. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's database.
Yep. Direct quote from Gary Keller. It's probably on the wall somewhere in this building. Yeah. Do you guys get any emails or mailers or other marketing from companies, like big companies? Like I I get like Costco sends me mailers every, I don't know. Seems like every time I get the mail, which is probably not often enough. Um, my wife is constantly getting emails from Target about things that she should buy, and then she does. I think that the very best businesses market to their databases, but they think of their database different than we think of our database. Like if I were to tell a random experienced agent, like you should market to your database, or how many people do you have in your database? They would be like, oh, I have like 150 to 200 people that I'm able to call. That's not your database. Your database is literally every single person, but you can have different levels of people, right? Like even Costco, they have their executive members and then they're just like normal members. There's probably some secret higher level member that you can do whatever. Sam's Club, you get to go early if you're like a higher paying member, so you don't have to deal with the crowds of people. I don't know, does Sam's Club have crowds? Only Costco does. No one goes to Sam's Club except for my mother-in-law. Um, so when you build a database, we want it to be built out in such a way that you know who to contact and when, and you have all of the answers. So if you remember my nice little drawing from the other day, we have the database. Oh, that's how you spell it. And we're going to put our sphere of influence into the database. We're going to run a marketing plan called the 36 Touch, which we'll talk about on Friday. We should get leads. Those leads will be added into the database. The 36 Touch will cause people that we know are sphere of influence to raise their hand, become leads, and then nurturing them down to the appointment, down to close. So this is the most important thing because it houses everything. In my original drawing, it was like database. Oh my goodness, I can't spell today. Database, like super highlighted. And then it was SOI and leads, and then 36 touch down to appointments. I didn't even have the whole nurture, but everything just jumped into your database that had the 36 touch that gave you appointments. That was my original drawing because that's how important the database is. It is like the one living thing in your business that has value. In theory, you can sell your database. Like that's what dentists do. Like when you buy a dental practice, you're buying like you have a handful of people with some systems in there and you have a book of business. You know, if you buy a bookkeeping business, it's literally a book of business. That's all you have. That is the database. So that is the most valuable thing that you have here. Um, let's do some math real fast that I haven't done. So you guys have to do it for me. So have you guys heard of the idea of the lifetime value of a customer? It's like how much money you will make off of a customer over the whole period of their life. So people move about every 10 years, right? So if you bought a house today and you were 25, and then in 10 years you sold a house and bought a house, So we're 3 houses in, they're 35. Let's go one more. You're 45, you sell a house, buy a house. So that's 5 houses. Let's imagine that that's the idea of a customer. We're not going to use appreciation. We're just going to assume the market stays flat, interest or commission stays flat, everything stays flat. So you make 10 grand every single time. This is all very not true, but it probably averages out because your first house is way cheaper than your last house. Typically you move up every single time, but let's just imagine you make 5 grand or 10 grand every time you close a house. And so we're about $50,000 per customer. So 68% of people own homes. Between like 65 and 68, it kind of fluctuates. So we're like 2/3 of the people that you know. So how many people are in your phone right now? Live question. So if you go open your phone, scroll to the very bottom. Oh, hopefully you don't need to call anyone. How many? 491. Okay, let's go low. Okay, so you have 400, you have 91. Let's call it. Mine says 1,862. And even as I look through this, I'm like, who are these people? Yeah. Yep. Like an agent that used to be on the team, an agent that used to be on the team, like all of you are in my phone kind of a thing. So that's a lie. So, okay. So if you have 90 people, what's 2/3 of that? 67%, but we're at 60, right? So you have 60 people that technically will ever buy a house or own a house. And then assume that they move 5 times with you and you make $50,000 off of them. So what's 60 times 5, 50,000? $3 million. So, your database has a value of $3 million in it. So now we could do the same kind of idea with 400, right? And I don't know, 300-ish, because that's 75%, which is also a lie. I'm making up numbers in the front. And so now, if you were a great real estate agent and captured 100% of your 90-person people in your phone, you would make $3 million over that lifespan. Now, the other thing that this does not include are referrals. Gary Keller, in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, he says, for every 12 people you have in your phone, one of them should close and one of them should give you a referral that closes every single year. So if we take that, we are about 8 people giving you referrals and 8 people closing every single year out of your 90. So we technically could double this because your 90 people all know a whole bunch of people. If everyone gave a referral and we have the same idea. So really, instead of 3, we're at 6 million because of your database. Would you be okay making $6 million? I mean, this is over a little while, and that's with not adding a single new person. That's just working your current 90 people. Now we double that, right? You have 180 people in your phone or your database, and you're at 12 million. Over the next like 20 years, though, whatever or 30, how many years did we do? We did now, 10 years from now, 10, 20 years. Yeah. So over the next 20 years, $12 million. It's a pretty good average income, right? And that is just from the database. So everything that we're talking about, like marketing, if you're like, I wonder how to run a Facebook ad, and if those work well, you don't even need to do this because marketing to your database will work. So first thing about the database is you need to put everyone that you possibly can in there. And yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Nope. Unless you want them to get spam. Yep, it is 100% whatever you want to send them. So let me pull up my phone. Let me show you the very easiest way to add everyone to your database from your phone. You do. How do I do this? Nope. Command is what it's called. Do you guys all have command, by the way? It's all set up for all of you. Okay. Okay, if you have not done this, here's what you should do. Log in. Drives me nuts how often I have to log into command. Like, just remember me. Oh my goodness. And I have to have a security code. Oh. Where does that go? Copy. Okay. So when you log in, you're not even seeing what I'm seeing. What is going on? Screen mirror, large training room. 8016. Okay. Okay. So in your phone, all you do is you click here. Nope. What do you do? There it is. There it is. Contacts. Click the three dots. Import contacts. You have two accounts. For the record, I don't care which one you use because they're going to end up being the same. One, I have access to see this. So if you're like, oh, I would love to be held more accountable to reaching out and things like that, then you should add them to the team account. It's got a stupid name like 0759. You can do that. When you graduate the productivity coaching program, those will all be transferred to your personal account. So it means nothing different. Or you can do it in your personal account because I don't care. So then I have all of my contacts. I would just click select all, and I would start with every single person. Continue, and then I created a tag here called needs organization. And then I know everyone that I haven't even looked at. Then I'd click continue, it would take a little bit, and then I would have them all in here. And if I were to filter by my tags and do needs organization, you can see I still have 920 people that I need to organize. But I'm halfway done because I'm 1,800 contacts, so that's not very bad. But on this first page, I know one of these people, and I definitely wouldn't call her. So yeah, I have tons of people that I wouldn't call. And that's probably why they're not organized. Carl Spencer, this is who was supposed to teach us today. So, side note, as you're doing this, I actually do a lot from my phone. Because if I were going to call Carl right now, and I just clicked his, I can click call, and it will pull up, hey, how do you want to call him? And I just do this, and it would say call him. And should I call him? No. When you're done with that, or you can click text him, do the same thing. And then when I go back, it said, would you like to add an activity? And I say, yeah. And then I text with him. He didn't come to teach. Done. Save. Now I have logged this conversation with him very quickly. I'm going to add and remove tags because he doesn't need organization, but he is an agent. Save. Boom. So my whole goal here is I'm not going to do this all at once. 920, that would take me too much time, and I don't have that much time. So usually what I do is a couple of things. I have gone through, and if you noticed in Carl's one, he has this little S. I don't know why we're still on my phone, but it's still the same. He has an S on his tag because his last name is Spencer. I did take the time to tag the first letter of his last name on every single person. And so I did not do that on my phone. I did that on the computer.
On your database would be out of state.
Those are my very favorite people because I love not working. So when people don't live in the state, the only way that you can make money off them is either if they move to the state that you are in, or if they think of you first as a real estate agent and call you for help, then you can refer them to another real estate agent. You typically get 25% of that, and all you have to do is send them to an agent. There are zero other things. So in the real estate industry, we've kind of pegged this as like the typical 25% is what it's worth to generate a good lead. So if you want a good lead, pay 25%. So a quarter of your effort is probably just finding that person. So in my database, let me show you a few things that I have done to help out. So like I said, I tagged everyone with the first letter of their last name. That makes it really easy to do what is called the DTD2. It's called Do the Database 2. I don't know what version 1 was, but we hated it, so we created a new version. And we gave it the stupidest name ever, DTD2. It's even hard to say. And when people say it for the first time, you're like, what did you just say? Because all of those letters sound the same. And what it is each week, there's 2 letters that you call. So this week happens to be I and Q. So you call everyone with the last name of I and Q. Not very many. Next week is Y and Z, also not very many. It's kind of like the last 2 weeks of the quarter, so catch up. But then every 13 weeks, you reach out to every single person in your database. Because if you remember from lead follow-up, I said you should never go more than a quarter of the year without following up with a lead. Well, if you're already doing that, then it's really super easy to do that. So I have these tags. Now to create these tags, it's probably somewhere. I think you can just actually create them. Let's go to Aaron. He's an agent here in the office. And so if we click, oh my goodness, I can't see that little pencil. Tags we can drop down. And so he is a bodybuilder. So I could just create that and tag all of him bodybuilders. Now, the way that I use tags is they must be useful to any sort of marketing that I am doing. If it is not helpful in some way that I would market, I do not do that tag. For example, some people use the tag as friends and then others are family. And it seems like, yeah, well, these people are my family. They should be tagged differently than my friends. But do you know how I speak to them differently? I do not. If I'm going to send an email to my friends and family, I send the same email to my friends and family. So I don't need to differentiate this. But you could get very creative. And for example, I play soccer basically every Tuesday, except for in the summertime because it's indoor soccer and everyone's out of town all summer long. So I could tag people soccer if I play soccer with them. And then when we're like, oh shoot, we need a guy because someone's out of town, I could go to my database and pull up everyone that I play soccer with and just decide who should I reach out to. And typically I think, who does not have a real estate agent that should have one or that I should have a better relationship with? And so like my kids play soccer and I just met some of the parents that also play soccer. If I want to build a better relationship with them, I shoot them a text. Hey, I'm not sure if you're able to make it, but I'm playing a soccer game tonight. Do you want to come? It's at 8:30 tonight. And if they're like, no, shoot, but thanks for thinking of me, all of a sudden we're just better friends. They didn't come, I don't care, but now we're better friends. So then when we're at the soccer game of our kids, I'm like, ah, too bad you didn't go. Like, hey, by the way, I don't even know, what do you do for work? And he's like, ah, I'm an accountant. I'm like, oh, that's real boring. What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm in real estate. You should buy houses. You know all of the tax benefits behind this. And this is a real conversation that happened with someone named Mark. I feel like everyone I've met lately is named Mark. I've met like 3 Marks. So anyway, I could do that. I am not going to market to them any different, but it might help me build the relationship a little bit better by tagging them as soccer. If you were going to do like a good one, most of you aren't even from here, so you don't care. BYU, Utah, are you guys fans? Either one? BYU? Okay. Yes. BYU? Okay. We can all be friends. Okay, you're going to be BYU if you don't have an opinion, okay? Oh, oh. All right. I like Utah State too. I would cheer for Utah State over anyone but BYU. How about that? Yeah, but they don't really play sport. No. Basketball, they're pretty good every once in a while. Yeah. Hit or miss. So anyway, if I wanted to do a BYU watch party, I would want to know who all of the BYU fans are. So that might be a tag that I put in there. If I know you're a BYU fan, I would tag you and then I would invite you to like a party. And you could even do it in this room, reserve this, throw it up on the big screens, just sign into like your YouTube TV or whatever, play the BYU game, have everyone hang out, have a bunch of food in the back. That could be a very real activity that you run that would cost you probably like $200 if you pay for all of the food. But if you do a potluck style, hey, I have an awesome place to come watch the game. The seats are not very comfortable, but there's tons of room. We got a little area out back. We could throw the football. We could play some cornhole or something. We have another room next door that we could put some kids shows on for the kids, and then potluck, everyone brings some food. You could design a whole event and spend $0. But then when you go to invite people, you don't want to just invite all the Utah fans if you're going to watch the BYU Utah game, because that would be uncomfortable. That you're like, yeah, BYU, and they're like, I hate you. So you could tag them all like that. If you were like throwing a dog party, like a dog walk event, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what people do with their dogs. My dogs just are at my house and I pet them. That's the relationship. The ones that I don't want, yes. But like some people are like all about their dogs. Like, let's go to the park together. Let's have a party. Let's have a dog birthday. My neighbor literally did that last year, a dog birthday, and my dogs were invited. She does not have children, obviously. And all of her friends have dogs, so she did a dog birthday. Well, she could have a tag of everyone that has dogs to have this connection. However you're going to market, you're going to add that. So I have very generic tags now. I have not gone through and added like my BYU fans and everything like that. So with all of these tags, you can see that I've gone through. The other ones that you'll notice is I have SOI B, C, and then A. Not in that order. They just happen to come in that order. So how I do it is my SOI A, these are my good friends. Like I could call Adam Horn right this second in front of the class and be like, Adam, funny story. I was just telling people that you were my friend. Will you say something funny? And he would, and he kind of is like a Chandler Bing character. And so I could do that any second. But then I have like these SOIB, they're not quite as good of friends. It would be a little more awkward. Like this Adam Jones, he lived in my neighborhood when we were kids. His older brother is my age, and me and him are really good friends. He's my SOIA. He's given me referrals. And if I were to call his brother, it's a little weird, but also he would 100% know who I am. I would know who he is. If we ran into each other at the grocery store, we would stop and talk because we know each other. I haven't seen him in a while. He might look different, so maybe I wouldn't stop. And then I have the SOIC. The SOIC is either I'm not 100% sure who you are, or I'm not 100% you would know who I am. Funny story, I have a recruiting appointment today with a brand new agent. And when it was set for me, they text over the name, and I'm like, that name sounds so familiar. I searched her on Facebook, and it is someone I went to high school with. Now, I don't know if you guys got a similar email when we all first met, but when these appointments are set for me, they start a smart campaign that sends out some emails that says like, I'm so excited to meet you and get to know you and everything. That was not me. I'm sorry if you got my email. That was not actually me. It was my assistant who made a robot do it. But she even replied back to that, like, me too, I'm so excited to meet. Not, hey, did we go to high school together? So she might be a C because if I reached out to her, would she remember who I am? Would I remember who she is? Like, that might be a C kind of a thing. But I tag everyone, A, B, and C. If they are a D where you're like, ooh, I don't want to talk to them, they are not in my database. Okay. Creeper Craig, I have him stored in my phone. He is not in my database. I do not want to accidentally invite Creeper Craig to Splash Summit to be hanging out there. Like that sounds like a bad combination. So we don't do that. Then everyone else gets dumped in. Then I just go through, and each week what I do is I'm following this DTD2. So real easy on how to do this. If you click on name, we are going to sort by last name A to Z. And then we're just going to start tagging. I guess Jesse Larson doesn't have a last name, but I inferred this from the last name. And so I just went through and started to, like, I checked everyone on the page, and Pookie, yeah, you like that. Last name's Christensen, Ryan Christensen. Oh, the other thing that drives me nuts, I don't want 10. I want way more than this. If I'm doing this, maybe like 50. And then I can just select all of them. I can unselect, and I'll just scroll to the bottom and see when do my A's stop. And uncheck these. And then I'm going to, oh, here it is. We are going to just add a tag. Boom. And we just add A and submit. And it would tag all of those as A people. So my next step of what I did is I created a filter. They're called these smart views. So you can see the smart view is all contacts. You can change this, or you can manage these different smart views. So you notice I have a whole bunch of smart views. The one thing that they need to do is let me organize these, because it drives me nuts that I have 5, 6, 2, 1, 7, 3. Like that's not any sort of order. And it drives me nuts, because I would have 1 through 7 or 8, however many I have, and then I'd have A through Z type ideas of my DTD2. So why I did this is so everyone has their first letter of their last name. Then I can go in here and say, okay, we are I and Q. Have I even created that one? Did you see it? Did I miss it?
Go down a little.
Wait. Oh. So boom. Oh, but this is wrong, because these are all the B's. So we can click on my filters, And I'm gonna go, yep, see, I have B and E. And we don't want B and E. We want I and Q. I and Q. Boom. Apply. Then we are going to save Smart View changes. Whatever Smart View you were on, it will save to that. And so now I can see all of my A and Qs. And notice that I need organization on a lot of these. So I need to go through and decide if they are A, B, or C contacts. And then I'm going to call through all of the A's because I'm able to do that. That would be easy. I have a relationship. I can just talk to them. It could be as, hey, it's been a while. Just wanted to reach out. How's things? What's new? That could be a text or whatever. Like this kid, he lives in Chile. So, and this email address is not even real. So I can just go in here and I'm just going to archive him away because I don't want to talk to him. There's no reason for me to try to figure out who he is and how to reach him when I don't even have a good email. So we can just go through and quickly organize this. I only have 10 people, which makes this an easy one. Austin Ingersoll is a lender up here. I could reach out to him, be like, Austin, you should send me referrals and I should use you as a lender more. And he would laugh and say, okay. And so little things like that. Shoni Ivins needs organization. I definitely need an organized Shoni. So doing all those little things. So now that I have these smart views, I can very easily go in and I have this little, number one, I'm going to go through my new leads. Number two, I'm going to go through my hot leads. Call all of them, see what's going on. Number three, I'm going to go through my qualifies, which I don't think I have any. And I just go write down my numbers of what I'm going to do because I have set a priority for myself and I have added them in here. My sphere of influence that I haven't talked to in more than 90 days. So, but this is obviously pulling wrong because here's a PC agent. It's not even an SOI A or a B that I want to talk to. So you can organize your database in ways to help you. But again, it's all to help you market to the right people and keep the right people in front of you. Questions, thoughts? Anything that you want to know? So imagine this. Fast forward, let's just even call it 3 months. You have dumped every person that's in your phone, every person that's in your email clients that you have their email addresses for, and you've gone through and you organized them to A, B, and C. The other one that I don't have in here, but I always tell people to do are buyer or seller. Buyers own or don't own homes. Sellers do own homes. You might have investors, anyone that's raised their hand as an investor. You'll notice I have out of state there on the bottom with Robert Giles. He moved to Florida after I sold his house, and now he's buying something in Florida. How do you think that this could help you? Having an organized database. Yep. Let me tell you about the anti-system system. Have you guys met Cody Felberg before? He's one of my favorite agents here. He does none of this. So his system is when he gets in his car, he knows he needs to call people. So he thinks, who have I not talked to in a while? And whoever's name pops in his head, he calls them. And he says, hey, it's been a while and I just thought of you, because that is 100% true. But he forced himself to think of someone that it's been a while. And then he calls them. And he has a conversation with them. He writes no notes down. Somehow he remembers all of it, but that's just how he is. And he has a conversation about whatever. Could be 2 or 3 minutes long. It could be half an hour long. Doesn't matter. It's why he's driving. He says that his wife laughs at him for how much he sits in his driveway as he's finishing up conversations. And so that's his system. Now, there's a lot of flaws. If you'll notice this number 3 move from E to P. So that means move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. So what happens if you're entrepreneurial is you set yourself on some sort of ceiling. So Cody's system has a ceiling. Now he is a high level guy and one of the top closers in our office. So he has a very high level ceiling. He is able to talk to a lot of people, be friends with a lot of people, and remember a lot of these details. And so he has a high ceiling of achievement. If he wanted to break through and go to that next level, he needs to get purposeful. And even if we were closer, you could probably see that it says systems and models. Wait, that one doesn't say systems and models. What? Oh, it does. Focus, strategic options, models, systems, accountability is what it says about being purposeful. So his model, he's following one, right? Call as many people as often as possible. Like that's his model. My model is call every person every 90 days. So whose model is better? If I did mine, 100% probably mine, because I'm going to call through way more people. Where he's just going to call people that he thinks about. He's probably building better relationships because mine's a little more forced and his is like, I just thought of you. Where I can't be like, hey, I just thought of you. And it's been exactly 90 days since we talked. They might catch on. I like the show. It's called The League. Religious, do not watch it because it says a lot of bad words and it's a bad show. If you don't have morals, it's hilarious. But one of the characters in it, he's like, his wife is way prettier than like he is. Like she's out of his league kind of a thing. And so he's always constantly trying to do these things and he calls it Special Lady Day. And he does it every 4.7 weeks is how he puts it, or something random like that. So it never falls on the same day. It's not like a monthly thing. It seems like random, but it's not. It is like an equation that he's following. And I'm like, that's what I need to do. I need to just put some decimals in my systems. It's not every 90 days. It's every like 97th day. But so, okay, let's go back to this. So you have an organized database. You know who you should reach out, who you could reach out to. You're logging your calls, you're saving your notes. Like what does your life look like at that point? Gary Keller has this quote, the path is in the math. So if you wanted to make $100,000 and the average commission is $10,000, how many closings do you need? 10, good. 10 closings. Now he says you should convert 75% of your agreements to closings and 75% of your appointments to agreements. That's 56%, which is a weird percentage number. We're just going to double it because I like 50% better than 56%. So if 50% of our closings or of our appointments end up going to closing, we are at 20 appointments that we convert at 50% go to closing. So in our made up math here, which by the way is not far off from actual math, if you go on 20 appointments, you make $100,000. So then the next math problem is how do you get 20 appointments? So there are ratios, but everyone's very different. But some people are like 10 to 1 in terms of closings with their SOI. So every 10 people you have in your database, you should get one closing, and that's their ratio. So if you know this, then you know, okay, to get 10 closings, I'm going to need 100 people in my database. But now to get the 10-to-1 closing, we're probably going to have to do some sort of marketing reach out system, right? This is the 36 touch. That's a crazy 3 to get that 10-to-1 type of ratio. But if you can get that, so then it becomes, we're all the way down to action in this math. Run a 36 touch on 100 people to get the 10-to-1 ratio that gets you 20 appointments, 10 closings, it makes you 100 grand. So we just became a math problem. So then if this is all very true, how do you make $200,000? Double it. You just double it. What do you double? Any part of it. So you double this from 100 to 200, boom, that ends up at 200K. If you can double your price to 20 grand commission, boom, you just doubled it. You double both of those, you've quadrupled. So it all ends up being a math problem. And the way to solve a math problem is to know the variables, which is why we have the database. So you are probably never, ever going to be as dialed in like this because typically people like me that nerd out on the numbers don't also nerd out on the relationships. And so when we look at this 10-to-1 ratio, it typically does not hold true. But I probably have my own ratio. So if I was running a 36 touch, am I going to get a 10-to-1? There's agents that get better than this. They're like a 5-to-1. 5 people in their database to 1 closing. That's ridiculous. Could you imagine that? So let's see, you're 90 people. Oh no, I can't do math. 18 closings. And if it's at 10 grand each, that's 180 grand. Crazy. Now you might run out of people to talk to, right? Because this is over years as an average. Like maybe this year you're 20-to-1, next year you're a 5-to-1, and the next year a 5-to-1. So we average out at a 10-to-1 kind of an idea. But if you run out of people to talk to, that's where the additional lead generation goes. And then you just add those people to your database over and over and over. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to be strategic, right? Strategic tagging to organize the people on how you are going to use it. I would suggest like A, B, and C, VIP, those are the kind of people. I like to tag VIPs as well. Like those are the people I'm willing to spend money on. So like Splash Summit yesterday cost $6 a person that came. Well, I don't want to invite the people that may or may not know me. I want to invite my VIPs. They're going to send me business. So I'm going to invite all of them, tag them VIPs. I know exactly who to invite. If I tag all the buyers, I know who to invite when we run the first time home buyer seminar later this year. So be strategic about all of that. Then in all of this, you should write notes because you might forget things. And the better than the notes that you have, the better you can actually remember. I don't want to use remember because I'm not actually remembering because it's in my notes. It's like just little things. Like one of my friends, he wanted to get a background check for something he was going to do. And an FBI agent had to come talk to me because he was my companion on the mission and he wanted to make sure he wasn't a spy when we were in Chile. Anyway, he came in, he asked me all these questions. How much did I see him? How often did we talk? Did he talk to any shady characters? All of these kind of things. I answered all of the questions perfectly because I know this because the FBI agent was really nice to me. And I said, this probably isn't a normal thing. But he was really nice. It was in one of our conference rooms here. Anyway, as he was finishing up, he had closed his book and he mentioned something about my friend's wife. And I don't know why, but he said, "What's your friend's wife's name?" And I forgot it. I couldn't remember it for the life of me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And as I was scrambling for an answer, he opened up his little notebook and made a little jot in his notebook and closed it and said, "Thank you. Have a good day." And got up and walked out. And I was like, well, now he doesn't believe anything. My friend's not going to get security clearance. He's not going to be able to do the job and everything. He ended up getting a different job anyway, so he didn't even need the security clearance. But his what? Yeah, crazy. His wife's name is Mandy. Like, I could have guessed that, right? Like 30s, what's her name? Amanda, Jessica. Um, so if I were diligent at taking notes every time that, like, I even went on a listing appointment because he thought about maybe selling his house, didn't like the numbers, decided to stay. I talked to him every 90 days. We text and email and random things all the time. If I would have been taking any sort of notes during all of those, and then I'm like, hey, I'm going to meet with an FBI agent. Might as well just brush up on what's going on in my friend's life. I could have very easily remembered his wife's name, Mandy. So easy. So take the notes, use those notes because those are the things that people will like. Now you'll notice that none of the the people that I have tasks. I don't like to use the task, but if I were to use the task, it would be to follow up on very specific things from our conversations. Like if someone told me they were running a marathon, I would want to put that as a task to follow up. How did the marathon go? That is a very easy reach out for someone that builds the relationship. Nothing about real estate, but all it would be like, oh, hey, you're running the marathon on July 24th, July 25th, boom. I'm going to follow up. Hey, didn't you run a marathon yesterday? Then it doesn't matter if I'm on social media. If they don't post it on social media or anything, like I'm the one that's remembering. They don't need to know that it's a system that's doing the remembering for me. But then it's right there. Tasks come to my face. I just send out quick texts, quick messages, and boom, we're done. So your job, I want you to figure out what your system looks like. What are your tags that you are going to use that are actually going to help you in your business? Remember, the idea is you need to talk to as many people as humanly possible. If you can have the one-to-one conversations, that's going to build the relationship better than the one-to-many. With the caveat, if the one-to-many is actually feels like one-to-one, it's way better. So if you text all of your dog friends about National Dog Day, like that seems more one-to-one, but you can mass text that out one-to-many. Which, if you're looking for a good app for something like that, it's called Reach. Like you're reaching out to them. It's $8 a month, and you can send like the same text but templated, kind of like mail merge. So you change their name. So it's like, hey, Caleb. Just had to throw that in there. And then you can send the same text to everyone, and it takes probably 1/10 of the time. And then if you were to just copy, paste, and send. So super, super easy. So design it out. What are your tags? Then I would get into command. You can edit the tags in your profile, or you can go and add new tags. Keep them very different, very separated. And remember, they have to be, you will have to use them for something different. Like I don't call any of my SOICs. That's just, I don't worry about it because I don't have a good enough relationship with them. So they're the kind of people that if I still have ample time and I have called all my A's and my B's, I need to figure out how do I reach out to my C's. You can add everyone in here, even like your Facebook friends, if you wanted to add them and then go to their direct message. You can do Instagram followers, whoever you want to have a conversation with, put them in here. If you're starting to do like DMs to people that you are only like Instagram friends with, maybe that's the trigger to put them in here. But the more people you have in your database, the more structured you can end up being and follow a system that will help you. So figure out what it is and then go start doing it. Even if it's just a chunk at a time. If you're like, I'm going to do 10 every single day. And then you just click on this little show button, make it be 10, and then just do that first page and you're done for the day. We're not going to overcomplicate it. If you have 1,800 contacts, please do more than 10 in a day. Your goal should probably be organized in 30 days. So if you can do it in 10 days, that's probably great. That would be 2 weeks, just every day on the weekdays, just who do I have to organize? When you're sitting in meetings, in between showings, at open houses when no one's there, these are the perfect times. You can do it all from your phone, just jump on and just quickly organize. Okay, so I'm going to release you guys to go do this. Plan out what you want to do, write out all the tags that you're going to do, and then start tagging your people. Yes. Oh, I have this fancy thing I will send you that is called the DTD2 calendar. So it looks like this, and it has the letters. I don't know who decided these letters, but these are real small. Can I make this bigger? No. Wait. Maybe I can if I just remove these stupid things. No. But so it's A and W. Like I don't. Maybe someone's like, that's root beer. That would be a cool one. P and L is one, like profit and loss. Someone like that'd probably be a cool one, and I put that one in. Yeah, B and E, F and G. That one just sounds funny, so let's put those together. M and X. I don't know why I like that. Maybe it's like company MX that's at Lehigh. Yeah, M and X. I don't know. N and R. It almost sounds like National Association of Realtors, so they probably put those together. S and U. I went to SUU for a while, so that one makes sense to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is just how I remember all of them. H and V. Maybe it's like HIV. C and K, those just have to go together because they're the same noise. So yeah, D and O, I don't know, just do it. T and J, it's like you got a buddy TJ. Yeah, I don't know who came up with these. Supposedly, what I was told is what they did is they figured out how to kind of like make it even across all of the weeks. So because like S, there is a lot of S's here. Let's see, we got 2 in the room, kind of like 2.5 because Becca went from one S to another S. So she's double duty S. So there's a lot of S's, there's not as many U's. So it kind of evens it out. However, I met someone who couldn't find these letters for some reason. So he did the research himself and asked Google, like, what are the most common last names? Like, and which are the least common? And he started to pair those. And he has completely different than this. But they follow their own made up one and it works for them. So, yeah, I can send this out to you. So you know what to do, who to call, everything like that. Any other questions? Okay. Yes.
Because it's there, calling we're reaching out to buyers.
Yes, let's talk about this.
So I went on the MLS yesterday, and there's a whole ton everywhere. But I guess I'm gonna take a close look. I don't know how long some of those have been on as expired,
Uh-huh.
or is there only just one reason, just the contract ended, and it goes on with expired?
Yep. So there's a handful of things that would happen. Like if I'm selling a house and the sellers are like, I don't want to work with you, they can withdraw the listing, which means I still have the agreement and they can't sell it with anyone but me, but that's not on the market anymore. They can cancel it, which would mean I cancel it with them. We don't no longer have an agreement, and then we can expire, which means my agreement has actually run its course and expires. I typically do that December 31st. I don't know, just like that makes it easy. That's a Dean hack. So you can find those. Now, if you're finding those, I would just double check. No, it will take me too long to log in. If you click on the MLS number and the agent report, there's a history button. I would just quickly click that to make sure it's not relisted. And if it's not relisted, then you're good to reach out and call them. Are you using like a lookup service? What's that one?
I just use the
But how'd you get their phone number?
the phone number? Oh, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do it a couple of different ways. There's services that you can pay for. Like if you pay for RedX, they will just go find all of the listings that are expired that have not been relisted, and they will pull their phone numbers for you. Or you can do a one-by-one search with it's like Skip Trace is what it's called. If you Google that, you'll find a whole bunch of services. There was one that the Red Sign team uses that I'm familiar with. You might even want to talk to the title company here because they can help you get lists of things, but I don't know if they can go as specific as expired listings and get those phone numbers. If they can, it will be cheaper than RedX. With those people, I would not add them into your database by default, unless you have a conversation with them and you want to continue to have conversations with them. So what a lot of people will do is, like if you pay for RedX, it's a database of, you can do for sale by owners and expireds. You can do any phone number. So you could be like, give me all the phone numbers in Vineyard and just call through Vineyard, kind of an idea. And it's kind of like a database. You log every time you call it, and then you can go from there. So you might call someone 3 or 4 times, which is actually better to do that than if you just call them once and then move on. And so you're logging it all in there, but when you actually have like a, hey, yeah, maybe I'll list, it's like, cool, that might be your trigger to move them into your database. And then, yes, 100%. Yep, the ones that get bombarded are expireds and for sale by owners. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why when you were talking, like all I could think about was the Goofy movie. Anyone with me? Stand out above the crowd, even if you have to shout out loud. So there's a handful of different things that you can do. My very favorite generic answer for this is it's all about your offer. Like, what are you offering them? And this might just be that you're doing the same thing as everyone else, but you offer it as if it's specifically for them because they have a problem. Like expired listings, they want to sell their house, they want to use an agent, and they just didn't sell. So my solution is geared towards people that want to sell their house that haven't. And so for that reason, I run the I don't know, I always come up with a program name, but ChatGPT does all of the thinking for this because I can never come up with good things. I run sorry your last agent was bad program. And and so I'm going to do everything very differently than the last person. And so how I do this is I start by a buyer CMA. And that just sounds different. Like no one's doing that. I'm just going to look at their CMA from the point of view from a buyer. Because your agent probably did a CMA more like an appraiser, which is going off of past historical data, and they're probably trying to push the market, but this market is sensitive, and if you price wrong, you're probably going to get it all wrong. And so I'm going to look at from the now buyers and the future buyers point of view and help you price your home that will actually make it move. Would you be interested in knowing what I think your home would actually sell for in this market? And they say, yeah, how much do you think? And you say, no, I actually need to see your house because I can go walk through a bunch of houses with buyers, but if your house is worse than the rest, you might have all the stats the same, but the house might not be the same. So I need to see your house before I can actually come up with a value. And so let me tell you how I do my marketing different, my pictures better, my anything, like I'm just different. And then I'll do that for you. Kind of like this idea. Should we do it? I get excited about these offers because you're just like, I'm different. And you just change one little thing and people are like, whoa, you are different. So, what was the question again? Oh, how do you stand out? Besides that, you can just offer things that are crazy. Something that works really well with like for sale by owners is you can call them and say, hey, I saw your house. Are you willing to pay a commission if an agent brings you a buyer? And if they say yes, be like, cool, thanks. By the way, I actually run open houses to help for sale by owners market their house a little bit. The only caveat is if I can market it and get buyers, I want to represent them and have you pay me a commission. I'm going to negotiate it in the offer so we don't even have to set an amount, but just know I'm going to be pushing for 3%. Would you be okay if I sold your house through my marketing? And if they say, yeah, then you run an open house. Hopefully you just sell it. That would be awesome. You get a market, you get to keep all the leads, put it on Facebook Marketplace, put it on your Instagram, whatever you're blasting there. Get permission for all of this, by the way. And then after the open house, if it doesn't sell, you reach back out to them and they'll answer your phone call because you just did an open house for them. They know who you are. You've talked a whole bunch. So you've done something different than just, hey, I can sell your house better. And then you say, hey, you know what? I think my hands were kind of tied in my marketing. And they're going to say, what do you mean? And like, well, usually when I do an open house, I have the power of the MLS, which is I can tap in and syndicate it out to millions of websites out there. Some people will say thousands, I say millions because everyone here has a KW website. Every real estate agent probably has a website, and there's millions of real estate agents out there. So you have all of that, plus the Zillows, the Trulias, the blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to syndicate it out to every single website that shows homes for sale in this area. And I was not able to do that. A lot of my agent friends aren't searching for homes like this. They're not looking at my Facebook. They're looking at the MLS. I think we're missing a huge group of people. It's almost like our marketing plan is to put a flyer on the front door saying it's for sale, but the only people that know that it's for sale are the people that come to the front door. So you might sell it to an Amazon guy or FedEx, that random guy trying to fix your roof. Those kind of people that come and knock on your door are the only people that know. But if we blast it out to the whole world, we just opened up our biopool. We're no longer working in a pond, we're working in an ocean. So what if I were to run my marketing plan with professional photography, professional this and that, and crush it in the marketing? Do you think that that would work for you? Yeah, that sounds great. Say, great, I'm 3%. Sign here. And then you sell their house. So yeah, the challenge with for sale by owners and expireds are you are just more noise. So it's how do you be different, not how do you be louder. It's like if you're in a crowded room and someone says your name, you like hear that for some reason. But when someone says a different name, doesn't matter. It's just more noise. So how do you like say their name in a crowded room? And it's you pinpoint their problem. You tell them that you have a solution for it. And then if you can name it in a way that explains it very quickly, like your agent sucked program. It's a bad name. Bad name. ChatGPT would be way better. Okay, go.
A lot of people, a lot of for sale, but will have that caveat at the end.
Yeah. So, the advice that was given in bold, which is a class here, that costs like $800. It's a high level, awesome class. Is they said for sale by owners are the best that you can practice on because they are selling something. So it's like you can't not be on the do not call list because you're asking people to call you about the house. So even if they're on the do not call list, they said, hey, by the way, here's my phone number. If you think that you can sell this thing, call me about it. So when they're like, agents don't call, I don't know. The psychology is you're probably not going to be able to get through to them because what's your first line? Hey, I'm an agent. And they're like, I hate you. The alternative to that, the positive is if every agent thinks that way, no agents are calling them. And if you're just like, hey, well, I am an agent, but I have a question for you. And then they're like, okay. It's like, can I run an open house? Like, what? Yeah, sell your house. I liked it. I don't have a buyer for it, but I think I could get you one. Would you pay me a commission if I found you a buyer? Yes. Great. I'll make sure it's good enough to justify my commission. It's all negotiable in it, but just so you know, I usually ask and get 3%. So can I run that on Saturday? Boom. So when you're out of your sphere, you have no more people to call. Those are the best people to call. FSBOs are expireds.
But you, the FSBO
Uh-huh.
contract agreement signed yet? Any type of agreement?
I would just get like an email writing that I could run the open house for them. That I could market it in certain ways. And I would list those out very specifically, just so I don't get in trouble. Like I could put it on my social media, I can put it on Facebook Marketplace and stuff in order to sell their house. Even if it was a very limited time. So then you could put it on Facebook Marketplace until like after the open house. So it's like, I'm going to put it on today, mention that I have the open house, DM me with all your questions and stuff like that. And then at the open house, I'll take it off. You can go back to marketing your own house. And then afterwards, you're like, I feel like we're missing out. We missed out on a huge group of people. We're living in a pond when I think we should be in the ocean. Or a better analogy than that. So, okay, build out your database, go organize it, and more importantly, reach out to people. My very favorite way to do it is, so today is INQ. Rather than try to organize just your INQs, you call them and organize as you go. Reach out, shoot them a text. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I literally told someone the other day, I went to go look up a guy named Josh and your name popped up and I realized I haven't talked to you in 20 years. Like, what's up? I don't have his phone number. I messaged him on Facebook because I was looking for a different Josh on Facebook. And so I was like, oh, Josh, I should reach out to him. Josh, it's been 20 years. I just saw your name as I was searching for a different Josh. What are you up to nowadays? He's like, oh, small world, crazy thought. I live in Cedar City. Dang it. We're not going to be friends. So